All right, part two of troubleshooting common printer issues. And you can see here we have an error code. You got to look for error codes. If there's a specific error shown on the printer's LCD, read it and understand it. Now, back in the day, they had these crazy codes like, PC load letter and stuff, and it was pretty cryptic, to put it nicely. But now the messages are they're such plain English and they're so easy to understand that, usually they'll tell you exactly what the error is and how to fix it. And on some printers, it might be an error number, and you have to check your printer's documentation to find out what the error means. But here we see an error message: wireless will not work with an Ethernet cable connected to the printer. To use wireless, remove the Ethernet cable first. So a lot of printers out there, especially multifunction printers, they can either use wireless or wired connections. You can't use both. And why would you want to use both? Not really necessary, because if your printer's connecting in a wired format out to your Soho router or your switch, then you most likely, if you have other devices that are using wireless, you most likely have some type of wireless access point that connects to that switch as well. So one or the other is fine. And the reason this came up is because I connect my printers with a network connection, a wired network connection, so that I can limit the amount of wireless in my lab, so I don't have as much interference. And what I did was I just went to the settings and tried to set up a wireless network. And it tells you right off the bat, wireless will not work when the Ethernet cable is connected. So read the error message. It'll probably tell you exactly what the issue is. And again, use your printer's documentation, either in print format or online, to find out more. You might get specific messages like out of memory errors or low memory message. And so these are important. You'll see these quite often. And you want to check, first of all, the RAM. First of all, you want to check whether the user's computer is spooling documents. The setting with the least chance of this error happening is the Start Printing Immediately spool setting. And if we go to our devices and printers here and go to this printer and right click it and go to Printer Properties and go to the Advanced tab, we'll see that the radio button for Spool Print Documents, so program finishes printing faster, is selected, and the option is Start Printing Immediately. That's the default in Windows. And it's the best way to reduce the chances of an out-of-memory error. If you have it set to start printing after last page is spooled, then everything is spooled and then everything is sent to the printer. Worse than that is printing directly to the printer. And then the whole file just goes right to the printer with no spooling whatsoever. And, in that case, you better have a lot of RAM on your printer. So in some cases, the printer's RAM itself might need to be upgraded. And whenever installing RAM to a printer, take all the same precautions you would when working on a PC. So, but always check that spooling. Whoever created that issue on the printer, the message shows up on the LCD on the printer, but whoever created that issue, whoever did the actual last print job, check their spooling on their system so you could take advantage of the power of Windows and that desktop computer. And finally, no image on the printer display whatsoever. If you have no image here, well, you want to check your connections. You want to check if the printer is in sleep mode or off altogether, and check the power cable. In rare cases, there's an internal connector, a flex cable, that connects this display to the main circuit board, the PCB in the printer. So watch out for no image on the printer display whatsoever. And so that's about it for this portion of the troubleshooting for printers. Error codes, the LCD, it can tell you a lot, and make sure you use the documentation for the printer as well. And so that ends this sub lesson.